Hi, and welcome back to the Addictive Wellness Channel.
This is Sage.
And this is AnnaBlanca. And today we're going to be talking about broccoli sprouts, which are an incredible source of a compound that's amazing. It's called sulforaphane, and it has health benefits like you would not believe. And broccoli sprouts are the highest natural source of sulforaphane, totally blowing away everything else.
Last year was kind of sucky for everybody. And on top of everything else, I got such a bad food poisoning, and I was left with this thing that's called H. pylori, which is a very shitty bacterial infection. It was giving me such a hard time. And I found out that one of the best way to fight it is having a lot of broccoli sprouts. But it is so hard to find when it's fresh and still full of vitality. We kept buying it, but by the time it got to our house from the store, it was like wilted and did not smell so well.
And it's so expensive to buy in the store.
Yeah, and then the amount that you would like to eat. So I started making our own, and I really want to share this with you guys because it is quite amazing and very beneficial. So let's talk about first why it is so amazing, and then I'm going to teach you how to make it at home.
So, as we said, they are the highest natural source of sulforaphane. But what are some other sources of sulforaphane?
Actually, broccoli sprouts are the highest, but Brussels sprouts have 1/3 of it. I mean, Brussels sprouts. It's like a very shitty second runner-up, I have to say, just 1/3 of the amount.
But not bad though, because you can eat a pretty good weight of Brussels sprouts. So if we're saying it's the amount by the weight, so Brussels sprouts actually not bad.
Okay, guess what you're gonna get for dinner another night?
Brussels sprouts.
Brussels sprouts, yes. But it also, you can find it in garden cress and winter cress, mustard greens, turnip, cabbage, but really a fraction of it that you would find in broccoli sprouts.
And there's so many health benefits to broccoli sprouts and the sulforaphane in them, and the sulforaphane found in these other cruciferous vegetables. But the primary reason that this is happening, as far as science understands, is that sulforaphane activates a specific genetic pathway called the NRF2 pathway. And this affects the expression of over 200 different genes that are tied into antioxidation, anti-inflammation, and detoxification. So all the things that, some of these biggest things anyways that are going to be messing you up, sulforaphane makes you genetically, or epigenetically one might say, more powerful against those things.
Damn, all three of those things that really helps you to get healthier. And it stays good, all right? And it prevents cancer and cardiovascular diseases. Deactivates carcinogens by making them water soluble. So you can just beat them out all throughout the day. It's kind of cool.
Yeah. And so, for example, in terms of getting out these toxins, it makes them easier for the body to get rid of. There's a Chinese study where the people had an equivalent of 135 grams a day of broccoli sprouts. They were getting a sulforaphane supplement, basically, but this would be, to get that same amount, you would have 135 grams of broccoli sprouts. And you may be familiar with a carcinogen called benzene, which is found most commonly in car exhaust and cigarette smoke. And this increased the benzene being excreted by 61%, and also there's another carcinogen, acrolein, increased secretion by 23%. So these things that are being stored in your body that your body may have a hard time detoxifying become more easy to detoxify thanks to the sulforaphane.
And it also has a reduction in all-cause mortality. And it really helps with people who have a risk of prostate, bladder, breast, and lung cancer because they smoke. And it helps and increase the survival rate for people who already are fighting bladder cancer.
And this sulforaphane, you might think, okay, it exists in the broccoli sprouts when they're growing. But interestingly, this sulforaphane, which is a part of a class of compounds called isothiocyanates, is produced when the broccoli sprouts get a little bit beaten up. When you're chewing them, or you're blending them, or you're cutting them, that's when they actually produce the sulforaphane. So if you swallow them whole, it's not actually going to work the same. You gotta do something to them, make them experience some challenges. It's like a person who has not experienced any difficulties in their life is not necessarily the most awesome person. In fact, they can be a little bit annoying in some ways. to be awesome, you have to have experienced some trials and tribulations. So by chewing up those broccoli sprouts, you're giving them the trials and tribulations to produce the sulforaphane and be awesome. And you might say, well, I like eating broccoli. Do I have to deal with growing broccoli sprouts? Can't I just eat broccoli? Broccoli sprouts have a 100 times higher level of sulforaphane than mature broccoli. So yeah, you can get some from broccoli, but it's on a whole different level when you're having the broccoli sprouts.
And also, you know, it has like increases your glutathione level, which is really, really hard to do. Increases glutathione level, which is a very powerful antioxidant. And you want a lot of antioxidant in your body, because it helps you fight a lot of crappy stuff.
Yeah, glutathione especially, the master antioxidant. And there's all these other benefits as well. For example, for brain health and mental health. So there were some really interesting studies done on animals. Lots of these studies are done on animals. They haven't gotten to the level of doing them on humans yet, because those studies are, of course, much more expensive to do. But so these mice, they were subjected to what they call in the mice world social defeat. And it's such a sad term, right? Social defeat. It's like, what
has happened to them?
So these mice experience social defeat. Well, then they injected them with sulforaphane. Well, no, wait, hang on. Sorry, I got ahead of myself. Normally, the mice on their own, these certain mice experience social defeat. They became depressed, and they would then avoid social situations.
Like humans.
If they injected them with sulforaphane after the social defeat, they did not end up doing this avoidance behavior. Better yet, if they gave them sulforaphane precursors during adolescence and early in their life, they ended up not even having the social defeat. So they went even one step earlier by giving them this amazing compound of sulforaphane early on in life. Isn't that crazy?
Right now I'm super happy for
awesome,
the mice.
right? Like,
would it work in young teenagers?
The study hasn't been done, but why would a teenager not eat broccoli sprouts? I mean, this should be like, I think there should be like a school program where starting in like preschool, every kid gets broccoli sprouts every day. They have a class where they learn to make the most amazing broccoli sprouts.
You know,
it's just a part of the program.
Why is it that alfalfa sprouts has such a wide availability and not broccoli sprouts? It just doesn't make any sense. But moving on. It is also shown to have a very beneficial effect on neurodevelopmental disorders such as autism. And it lowers inflammation, which plays an incredibly important role in brain health. Mental health.
So more and more animal studies again are also showing that it's protecting against all of these neurodegenerative diseases. Why
is it so hard to say? I always have a problem because there's like those two sounds. Never mind, sorry for interrupting.
Neurodegenerative diseases and brain aging. And this also ties into traumatic brain injuries. So they've shown in animal studies that it's the sulforaphane is protecting against the negative effects following a traumatic brain injury because it is improving the blood-brain barrier, something that often becomes excessively permeable during or following a traumatic brain injury. And in terms of recovering, it's also shown to increase neural outgrowth, which is how the brain is going to be repairing itself after injury. So for all these reasons and so many more that we would have to do a whole nother very long video to go into, we love our broccoli sprouts.
I love the broccoli sprouts.
And AnnaBlanca is the master broccoli sprout.
Well, thank you for saying that. I've been having a really, really amazing time with this. So I'm going to walk you through why it is so incredibly easy to do, the little hacks that I figured out on my own, and how you can make this for yourself at home. The broccoli sprouts is my department. I'm the one who's taking care of it. Sage doesn't do anything except happily gobble it up. So I'm going to say goodbye to you right now, honey. You can go and do something else. I'm going to
Bye-bye, everybody. See you next time.
On day 1, you put 2 tablespoons of this beautiful organic broccoli seed into your jar and rinse it with this any kind of filtered water that you have. Please do not use water from the tap for, of course, reasons that you know. And as you put it into the container upside down, I came up with this, because you have to drain it, I came up with this shake and roll motion like this. And sometimes afterwards I use a spatula to push the seeds back down because they can really congregate right at the mouth of the jar. And set your alarm to do it in the evening and in the morning, approximately 12 hours apart. You really want to beautifully rinse them through, and then keep it in a cool, dry, dark place. Day 1, day 2, and day 3 are the same. You just make sure you rinse them and put them back into the dry place. But on the 4th day, on that day, you rinse it in the morning and put it somewhere in indirect sunlight, in the kitchen or wherever you have indirect sunlight in your house. And at the same time, make sure that it does not get too warm. Don't put it directly in the sun because the seeds don't like to get hot. Once you rinse it again in the evening, leave it out, and then day 5, rinse it again in the morning, and then find a spot that has just a little bit more sun but not direct sunshine. And later that afternoon you will see the final results of your efforts. Some sites say it's a good idea to freeze it. Again, like Sage said it earlier, that the seeds like to have a good beat up. But when I froze it, even though it possibly have more sulforaphane, it was just not as enjoyable for me. I did not like the sprouts like that. I like it when it's fresh, crunchy, and had a little bit of that extra spiciness. There's so many ways to enjoy it and consume it.